first presenter. Please welcome Miss Bong Chin Pei to give a talk about coolest iPhone apps.
Morning to all my professors and fellow colleagues and consultants and my lecturers. And my topic today is actually coolest iPhone apps, but I don't really talk much of apps because I don't really use it. So I'll share with you all about some iPhone's tips and tricks that I explored throughout the years I've been using iPhone. Sorry for Android user and Samsung because I don't really use. Okay, the first one is quite interesting to me, but maybe you already know, is a calculator apps. So if you actually unlock the orientation, it will become actually a scientific calculators. Yeah. Boo. Okay, so this one is, last time I think it's very frustrating when I key in a wrong number, where I cannot really delete the number, I have to clear everything. So it's very troublesome, but the new iOS, actually you can swipe left and right, so you can actually delete the numbers that you don't want. Okay, I don't use Android. So the next one I found quite useful is the patch up trick, where sometimes when you do Googling or all sorts of search, where you have to scroll a lot down bottom to the page, but if you want to scroll up, it's a bit troublesome. So the trick is you just need to touch the time at the top bar button there, the top bar there, then it will straight away go up to the page up, top of the page. So the next one I use quite a lot is this text replacement because I'm quite a lazy fella. So in setting, you can go to general and you go to keyboard and you add a text replacement. So you can add all sorts of your shortcut and then with a long, lengthy text that you want to, which make you fill up an online form easier and also minimize any mistake that you can actually key in with your addresses or your email. And the next one is, I think it's a new feature in iOS 11 where you can record your screen. So you can do it from your control center where you go and add in a screen recording button to your control center. Then after that, you can press the button. Then you can record whatever you do on the screen. You can also enable your microphone so that you can record whatever you can narrate through the tricks and tips that you are doing on your screen. This is quite useful whenever I want to share something, some of the tricks and the tips or walkthrough of the game with my friends, especially Devarani. She have a lot of problem with iOS. So the next one, I think this is quite useful for parents or a boyfriend who don't want to share apps with girlfriends. So this is called a guided access. So you can, this is also a new feature in iOS 11 where you can find it in setting, general, and then accessibility. Then in the guided access, you turn on. Then you can set your passcode to turn it off. So after that, you can access any apps that you want. Then you just triple click your home button so that you can hand to your kids or hand to your girlfriend so that he or she can only access that particular app. So this one can minimize whether your kids will accidentally delete all your important apps or information. So I think it's quite useful. So that's all. Thank you.
Next, we move on to our next speaker who will be talking about dreaming about diving and crazy about cats. Please welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Nick Aiza Nabila Betty Fahim.
Thank you, Shahid. Okay, so I was given this topic, I don't know, by my juniors because they think I'm crazy about cats. Maybe they know it secretly. And I'm also always dreaming about going on a holiday. So now for those people of the floor, how many of you are divers? Anyone dives? Well, from side, you know. Okay, so anyway, I think, for us as a master students, when we actually have so much to study and a lot of work to do, and sometimes you just need a break because your mind just can't function any further. Or if you actually feel like so going to burst and you're going to feel like raging at the people around you, or maybe even want to just throw something around. So maybe sometimes you even feel like throwing a fit yourself. So actually diving is a very good way to release all this pent up stress, and yeah. So you could actually just put on some diving gear and let's go diving. So why should we go diving? Well, don't you think that 71% of the Earth's surface is covered in water? Don't you want to explore that 71%? Rather than just the small 29% that we step on every day. It actually will help you open your mind and look at the world from a different perspective from under the sea. So you can see, it's just not about finding Nemo, or it's not just about seeing the big things like the sharks or the whales. So this is a whale shark in the background. So it's actually so much more than that. There are so many things in the sea that you can see. These are a school of travelers that you can find in Sipadan. Okay. So the common things are like lionfishes. They are so beautiful to look at. And this funny looking fish. You can even encounter sharks in our waters. Okay. Or maybe an assortment of eels. This is a leopard spotted eel. And you can see two different types of eels here, all sitting in the same hole. And this is the ribbon eel. So you can even find the food that we usually have, sometimes. It can make you hungry when you go diving and spot this guy. Or if you're lucky, you might see a turtle and it may even come up and kiss you on the nose. If you stay close and if you stay silent and still enough, they might think that you're just some coral. Okay, so even moving on to even smaller things, you can even find shrimps if you look underneath the rocks. So this is a banded box shrimp, and even smaller shrimps sitting next to an eel, and some are even translucent. These are really small, they're smaller than your thumb. Also another shrimp, very, very small in size. You need a good camera to capture this. So sometimes you can even find a cleaning station. Can you see my hand? There are 3 shrimps swimming on it, trying to nibble off the debris on my dead skin epidermis. And another thing that we like to look for in the ocean are these things called nudibranches. They're actually like sea slugs or something like that. So they come in all sorts of colors and all sorts of shapes. You can see that they have this antenna and then another pod at the center of their bodies. They come in different shapes and sizes. This one, we call it the flabellina. It's also another type of nudibranch. And you see, this is my thumb. The size of them, some of them are really, really small. If you're lucky, you can even find their eggs. So they lay millions of eggs within this rose-like thing that's just stuck onto the water. Or even you can see them having an orgy. You can see 3 or 4 nudibranches here. Or even some really funny and weird colored green and orange nudibranches you can see, if you're lucky. So after all that diving, another thing great about diving itself is the time that you spend in between the dives, where you can just kick back and relax by the beach before continuing on to see more lionfishes. Or like, let's see, this group of cuttlefish who are trying to lay their eggs. And if you notice on the right, maybe some fighting turtles. So all this was in Sipadan. Alright, so if you have seen too much of the fishes and it's actually making your own head swim, you can, or you have like drank 1 too many cups of salt water, and you're too tired that you don't even want to move anymore, so you can always just head on home and have a good night's sleep and continue dreaming about diving. Thank you.
Okay, good morning, everyone. I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad to have you all here. My juniors picked this topic for me, maybe because they don't know me very well. But anyway, my topic is music in my background. Prior to that, I just want to spend a few moments expressing my appreciation and gratitude to my mentors, Professor Tunku Sara and Professor As American, and to all my wonderful lecturers who have ensured that I'm here standing today. So back to the beginning. Yeah, as a child of Asian parents, I was promptly sent off to music school at the age of 4 or 5, and having to practice the piano and being made to perform at every opportunity available. And these are some of the instruments that I can play, but I have to say that I'm no Mozart. I'm not a child prodigy, and Mozart himself actually composed a piece of music at the age of 5. On a scale of things, I'm probably slightly above average only. And the piano is my favorite instrument, and I would like to talk about it, but maybe straying a bit from my character, I would like to talk about something less serious. And if not, I'll be talking about what shade of black this piano is painted in. Okay, in general, music is actually sound organized in time. And ever since humans have recorded or remembered, music has always been a part of life. It transcends cultures, gender, and genres. Everybody enjoys music. Yep. So like sports, such as badminton and football, music actually unites us. Even if we speak a different language, we all can groove to the same piece of music. And that is what is unique about it. And in fact, music also has health benefits such as reducing stress, decreasing pain, and if you look at number 10, it apparently helps you to eat less. I'm not sure how that works, but maybe one of you can try out and let me know. Sorry. Yeah, some of the things that our fraternity use music for is one, working out, operating, studying, meditating, and of course, getting caught up in some mischief. This picture is intentionally blurred, but I just put it there just so that I could tease my colleagues. Well, music, most of us perceive music differently. Some music causes us to be sad, some happy, some angry, some confused, and some depressing. So, well, that's why I guess our country banned this particular song, mostly because of the lyrics, but 90% of us can't even understand what it's saying. And this is a viral sensation over the internet. I think some of you know about it. So I'm going to play the clip. You just let me know what you hear. So, yep.
Yummy. Yummy.
Okay, so different people hear different things depending on how well your ear can hear the frequencies. So can I have a show of hands? Who hears Laurel? Who hears Yenny? Okay, I see some people have put up twice. Okay, who hears both? No? Play it again? Okay, I'll play it again.
Yummy. Yummy.
Okay, once more. Who hears Laurel? Who hears Yenny? Wow! I was just about to say we are all aging gracefully because as you grow older, the frequency that you can hear gets smaller and smaller. So those who hear Yenny actually can hear higher frequency. So congratulations, you are still young. But since a young age, this is one of my favorite composers. Although the name sounds similar, looks similar, but actually it's pronounced as Yanni. So he's a Greek guy, a very good musician. If you are free, go and check out his music. Yep, it's very good. So I actually Googled who are the top musicians of all time. And some people in the list include Bach, if you know him, the the Baroque musician, the Rolling Stones, Madonna, Elvis Presley, Michael Jackson, the Beatles, and Beethoven. But guess who is number 1? Just spend some
And,
time watching this.
I'm currently studying at UC Berkeley right now. But it's kind of odd, like why I chose to even audition in the first place, because my major is civil engineering, which is totally not related to music. But I really like music. I want to make music my living. Talk to me, tell me your name. You blow me off like it's all the same. You lit it fuse and I'm taking away like a bomb. Yeah, baby. Talk to me, tell me your sign. You're switching sides like a Gemini. You're playing games and now you're hitting my heart like a drum. Yeah, baby. She bangs, she bangs. Oh, baby, when she moves, she moves. I go crazy cause she looks like a flower, but she stings like a bee. Like every girl in history. She bangs, she bangs. I'm
Thank you.
wasted by the way
Thank
she...
you. You can't sing, you can't dance, so what do you want me to say?
I already gave my best, and I have no regrets at all.
Good for you.
That's good. Now that's good. That's good.
That's the best attitude yet.
Well, this video is already 10 years old. I didn't realize it. Couldn't find a better version. But anyway, I think we can learn a few lessons from William Hung. And even though he failed at that audition, but he made a lot of money. Probably more than you. Some of you here, UD48 like me, and me myself. So these are the things that he has done. Produced some albums and appeared in some events. But of course, we are better than him, right? Definitely. Sorry about the photo. Okay, that's all for my talk. Thank you very much.
So good morning, everyone. Again, I'd like to thank all my professors, my lecturers, for helping all of us pass the exam this time. So today, the topic that was given to me is staying calm. So firstly, looking at the photos, these are all the people who are actually leaders, and all leaders, they exude an authority of calm. So besides that, when you exude an authority of calm, you're actually showing that you're confident, you have authority, and you have power. So when do we lose calm is when we feel stress, as all of us feel stress on a daily basis. So that's when you are experiencing any emotional strain or tension, and if you are stuck in a position where you're out of control. So the first instance would be like public speaking, you feel stress. When you're in the federal highway driving, you feel stress. When you're dealing with difficult patients, and also when you're sitting for your CBO Part 2. Sukesh is there again. Right. So stress is a physiological response, as we all know, is a fight or flight response. So in the short term, it helps us prepare our body to respond in the best possible way. However, long term, there's a lot of deleterious effects on the body. It affects the person from the head all the way to the toes. And it actually can kill. Stress actually can kill. So this is proven medically. So we have to learn for ways to keep calm amidst all the chaos which goes on around us. And a lot of people think that they are born leaders, but actually we have found that this keeping calm is actually not a character trait, but a skill that anybody can learn in minutes. So the first thing that you can do when you're stuck in a moment where you feel stressed is you need to stop. And then you take a deep breath. But most importantly is you must respond. You cannot just get stuck there. And after you have done your response, you have to believe that everything will be okay. Things usually don't turn out as bad as you imagine it to be. For the long term, in order to avoid feeling stressed, you need to make sure that you are prepared to be able to respond to any situation. You have to acknowledge that not everything will be perfect, and you have to expect that you yourself will not be perfect as well. You shouldn't sweat the small details and try to look at the big picture, and also enjoy the journey. You have to remember that 10 years from now, if I made any mistakes during this talk, I probably won't remember that at all. So you also need to exude confidence. So what you can do is, number one, to stop slouching. You need to stand up tall with your shoulders back, your chin out, and look straight ahead at your audience. You need to slow down while you're giving any talks. Smile, look the audience in the eyes, and also you need to get out of your head, because a lot of people will be constantly thinking rather than responding. So this is a very short talk. So if you really can't be calm and confident, so what you need to do is to pretend to be calm and confident. So you have to be like a duck. You remain calm on the surface, but underneath the surface you're pedaling like hell. Okay, thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm glad Brendan gave that talk before me, so I can be calm at this point. Okay, my topic is I love KL and I love Penang too. The person who actually gave me this topic, I think they know that I have a love and hate relationship with Penang. I do love KL a lot, so I believe that my title should be I love KL, but I love hate Penang too. Okay, so this slight disclosure, this topic was given to me by Penang Hai. Thanks, Min Yuan. I have no financial relationship with Penang government or any places you see in this presentation, but the pictures are original and taken by me and my friends. Okay, history, a little bit about me. I'm born and bred in Bangsa. I've never been born in Penang. However, I ended up in Penang. How did I end up in Penang was I was given Penang as a houseman and also as an MO there for 5 years. Yeah. So I ended up in Penang Hospital. What do I like about Penang? I can tell you what I don't like. I hate the crazy drivers, especially Ho, Wang, and also hate the heat wave because it's an island, so it's very hot all the time, and you're constantly sweating. You're sweating, but you're not losing weight. So that's very, very frustrating, honestly. And the good thing about Penang is the sights. It's actually an amazing place to be, an amazing place to visit. The view is very great. There's places to see like Kek Lok Si Temple, especially at night during Chinese New Year. Komta, and there's loads of food to eat. As you can see, my size. The best food is Bangkok Lane and mee goreng. You also have Rajachana in Transfer Road. You get durian. You have the best cempedak goreng there. Those who have tried during the course will know what I'm talking about. You also have the best churros there. You also have cempedak, laksa, and rojak. And the best of all is the best biryani in whole of Malaysia. This I can honestly vouch is true, and these are my witness at this point who actually went with me to try the biryani. And also egg with bread, which they serve in the hospital actually for breakfast, just behind the hospital. And also home cooked char kway teow by my friend, and also home cooked asam laksa and Sri Mukha to die for. Okay, what actually made me sane in Penang is mainly my Penang family. They actually made life more bearable and they kept me well fed. These are the colleagues that I had, and they were amazing people, which made my 7 years wonderful in Penang. As you can see, loads of food, and also a lot of adventures we had together. And also my teachers and bosses are in Penang who actually taught me during those years. As you can see, this was my WhatsApp picture for 2 years in Masters in exercise, but some motivations was required. A lot of motivation, in fact. And last but not least, I also love KL. So a little bit about KL is mainly the food, as you know. Okay, I know it's food again. And loads of foods, and also loads of food and home cooked food by friends and colleagues and family, and also delivered to Tafufa from Ipoh, delivered to me every month by my colleague Ling, and also my KL family. This KL family is my own family, in fact, and also this family here, which actually been with me for 4 years. Occasionally driving me crazy. Occasionally we argue, we fight, but at the end of the day, we are still united as a batch. Also went through a lot of postings together. Spine posting, in fact, was my first posting. That's when we actually created friendships, close-knitted family, and had fun a lot in spine posting. Onco posting also. Also DJR posting. Also my PETS, LRS, and foot and ankle. Just a slight highlight here. Prof. Saw is actually my TC supervisor. So I'm actually very, very grateful to have you as my TC supervisor. I think I'm the luckiest person on earth. You were the best TC supervisor I can actually ever have. And you didn't give up on me when I actually thought of giving up many times, and you have revised my thesis like 1,000 times. And I'm very grateful for that. And this picture was actually taken 3.5 years ago when I was in Penang, when Prof actually came for a course in Penang, and he actually decided to meet me and discuss about thesis. And he actually told me the true meaning of how to do a thesis, where a thesis is actually to be done is to teach you how to do a proper thesis and understand when you read other people's publications, you are able to understand what you can derive from that publication and that paper itself. So I thought it was imprinted in me for 3.5 years, and I really, really appreciate it, Prof. Also, a few other, Dr. Kantan and Dr. Roshan also, uh, and the hand team, which we had a lot of fun. We actually won. We won this hand picture thing. That's the picture that made us win second place. And also team 1 and team 2, I was privileged to work in both trauma teams. Also, my last posting was sports, which we had fun and loads of ice cream. And yeah, and this is my study group, which I actually want to thank them for putting up with me, or I'm putting up with them, I'm not sure. But thanks a lot for everything. Okay.
Good morning, everyone. I think I'm given this topic because I think during my stay in UM, most of the time I'm either very quiet or totally silent. So a lot of people actually suggested to me that my topic is the easiest because I can just remain silent and then it's done. Actually, my topic is very short. The first slide is to thank thank all my professors, lecturers for all the teachings and guidance. I like to special thanks to my supervisor as well, Prof. Vivek and Dr. Faisal, for guided me through my thesis. My seniors, colleagues and juniors, as well as the academic staff. Thank you so much. I had a happy stay in UM. So just a little bit on my topic, it will be very fast. Why we need to remain calm in certain situations, as it is can even be more powerful than words. And of course, it can never be misquoted, especially when we say sometimes you tend to say something wrong or dealing with patients and family members. And of course, we can use this tactic in a lot of situations and of course answering a lot of questions. So when we can use it when we are facing with a fool to avoid unnecessary dramas. Also, when we are in anger or we are facing people we are dealing with in anger, that's when you can remain silent. And also, you're facing with a lot of meaningless questions. Also, we can just remain silent when we are facing our enemies, and also we are facing with violence. So, however, we cannot use this tactic every time. So there are instances where we have to avoid to be silent. For example, when we have our time with our friends and family, and also, of course, we cannot use this in exams. Lastly, for my slide, just remember, let's work hard in silence and let our success to be our noise. Okay, thanks.
So actually, I'm not the best person to be giving these talks because my experience in riding is, I think, since medical student time, so up till now about 15 years. So I think others who have ridden even longer than me. So I'll just tell a little bit about what I know about this about riding. So yeah, motorcycle, a little bit about the history. So the first motorized bicycle, we call it motorcycle, it's a motorized bicycle. So it was first invented in the mid of 18th century. So by French. So the engine is a steam engine with a belt-driven transmission. So that's about the first bicycle. Well, the first bicycle itself, bicycle is actually invented in the early part of the 18th century. So after about 50 years, the motorized bicycle has come out. So this is our first motorbike. So a little bit about anatomy of the bike. Anatomy-wise, nothing much to say. So there's, this is a frame, two wheels, and this is a fork, and all the the power, what is powering the bike is just the engine in the middle. So the power can be transmitted to the back wheel, so via three ways. So the next slide I will tell you. The power can be transmitted by chain transmission. This is belt transmission. This is by shaft. So what we normally see on the road is there's the chain transmission. So this chain transmission requires a regular maintenance to oil it. So while this higher powered bike, usually we have the shaft transmission, something like the car. It requires less maintenance, but it costs more to replace. So, but the belt one is something not very common, so I haven't seen one yet. So about a little bit about the ride dynamics. So the motorcycle is a two-wheeler, so it moves in a single track. So it has no lateral stability when it's in stationary position. So it develops the stability upon movement. So the stability develops when both of the wheels are rotating. So it has some gyroscopic effect which causes the bike to balance by its own. So so the front wheel and the rear wheel follow the same path, which explains why this is a single track vehicle. So for this single track vehicle, when it's moving at a slow speed, so when you turn the steering to the left, in a slow speed, the bike will go to the left. But when you go a little bit faster, when you when you push the steering, let's say trying to push you use your right hand to turn, push the right handlebar towards the left, as in the bike will tend to lean towards the left and the bike will go right. So that's what we call the counter steering. So this counter steering thing is something that you all have to know if at all you all take up biking. So it's going to be a life-saving thing. So what exactly is counter steering? So when you push the steering you usually push the steering at the direction that you want to go. So let's say if for usual manner, when you want to go left, so you have to turn left. That's what we think. The same goes with the steering. You have to turn left. So, but for bike-wise, if you are going at a certain speed, when you try to turn your bike to the left, you have to push the steering, as in, if at all you do this, you push your right hand onto the handlebar towards outward, meaning you turn the steering to the left, your bike will lean towards the right. So in the end, you will turn right. So that's one thing that you have to know. So in case of any emergency, you know how to avoid that, like going onto when we are going fast onto a corner. So you have to know which kind of reflexes you have to apply. So if you get jammed there, you don't know what to do. So that's going to cause a crash. So that's for the counter steering. So it applies not only to big bikes, it applies to bicycles. So even if you are riding bicycle, most of the time we are doing this counter steering thing without realizing it. So if you can just read up a little bit about it, then riding will be much safer. So but a little bit about having a bike, you still have to do a regular maintenance like your car. So on the chain wise, chain driven bike, so you have to regularly oil it. So there's no other additional maintenance cost there. So about safety, the risk of being killed or seriously injured per km traveled by using a two-wheeler is 54 times higher than the four-wheeler. That's data get from the Great Britain Road Transport. So in US, the data says that it's 37 times risk of fatality compared to drivers. So it's kind of dangerous in a way. So So for safety-wise, you have to have a full gear. So although most of us, we only have a motorcycle helmet. So the best is you have a full suit, which is mandatory for certain countries, but not in Malaysia. So it consists of the the gloves, jackets, boots, and your shoe, your boots. So yeah, the other one they call it this the full skill is you don't wear anything, you just go right as it is. So when you crash, most likely you are going to be one of our orthopedic patients. So okay, so the advantages of getting a bike is you can have a lane splitting, you avoid jams. So it gets you from one place to another place in much faster compared to others in cars. So usually during peak hours. So the other thing about park is you can park almost anywhere you want, but it's kind of annoying to see bikes in front of shops at times. In the pathway, walkway. So, but still parking is good. As in UM, you can park almost near the Medi Cafe. So instead of parking all the way down the hill, and we have to walk 15 minutes up to get to the ward. So fuel economy-wise, for a bike, it's much better. So for my bike, it has 1 liter can travel up to 16 km. The best, almost like a hybrid car, but still it's considered quite fuel economy compared to a car. So it's another one is this is we call it a cheaper way for acceleration thrills. So if you like to speed, but this is dangerous. So yeah, this is lane splitting. You can go in between the vehicles. So and in a jam like this, so you can always come to the first of the traffic before at the traffic light. So parking wise definitely is very much convenient. Then some myth and what people expect bikers to have. So a male have a bike, so people will think that we have a lot of girls and is what is expected. But in reality, this is what we have. Only males will say that cool bike, how fast you have ridden that bike. So most of the time we ride alone. The weather-wise is bad. So and usually guys will be a parent rider, except your girlfriend or your wife. So okay, disadvantages about having a bike is the weather. So in the hot day you will just be drenched in sweat, and if at all it rains, then you'll be wet as well. So road condition, what you have to pay attention on is if at all there are gravels on the road or puddles, or what. So you have to be really careful of that of it. So drivers on the road. So drivers, most of the time they don't really. Because of the blind spots also, we cannot really blame them, and most of the time they don't turn signal, and it's going to be quite dangerous for bikers like us. So then the other thing is helmet. So most of the time in UM, I don't comb my hair, and I have a very messy hair, so I always just got up from bed because I just have to put on the helmet. I cannot really put some gel over it, and I take it out and I have to carry the helmet around. So that's one thing, the disadvantages of having this bike. So this is the pain I feel when it rains. So so in cases of accidents, usually who to blame? So we can blame it on the driver or blame it on the riders. So the riders actually we have to always think of one step ahead. So when we see the car in front of us, what we need to do is usually we think whether the car is going to turn without giving signal or all of a sudden give emergency braking. So most of the time I will just go slow, or if at all I can, I just overtake them. So the other thing about this is very dangerous for riders or bikers. The same. So when you see car parked by the side of the road, you always assume that the door is going to open. So just be ready, because this is going to cause a lot of pain and injury. Okay, the last thing about getting into an accident is own stupidity. So this is a Superman style. We see quite a number of them in our street. So at times you want cheap thrills, also you just try to do some stunt, and actually speed kills. So even though you have a full jacket, so this rider had a full jacket. With speed, it's still going to cause a lot of damage. So this is without without gear. This is without gear. So most of the time, is before you ride. So I would just they say look into my eyes, promise me that you will never kill me. The bike is actually quite dangerous, but at times why I ride is just for the convenience. So that's all for my speech. Thank you.
First of all, I would like to thank all my professors, lecturers, and all my teachers from even the previous hospitals, everything. I would like to thank them. Without you all, I wouldn't be here today. Thank you very much. Okay. So the topic was given to me by my junior. Okay, so never, I'll try my best. So okay. So when I started my housemanship, initially I thought it's going to be very nice. It's going to be like inked. Wow, Grey's Anatomy. Like maybe the next slide. I'm going to be like him. Oh, something like that. Then I'm going to get very, very lucky. But then I found out, wow, I'm in the bottom of the food chain. So from left and right, I will kena. After that, I joined the chain, the food chain also. That means I go to higher out also. So in that situation, I try to find my allies, everything to get to cope with my stress. So then I become, wow, I'm so stressed, dumbfounded that what I thought is not going to be. So I suffer throughout. Then I learned that honestly are my kakak. Everybody I call kakak, even though they are younger than me. Kakak. Yeah, so then I also found out that it would be nice to staff nurse with you. Okay, then it started. Then I always ask, oh kak, macam mana nak buat? Boleh ajar ke? I'm pretty sure all of you were doing the same thing actually. Mana folder patient, that's all. Any empty bed available for me? That's it. Any orders for tonight? Then the nurses become my teachers, friends, colleagues, brothers and sisters. I place for ventilation when I'm frustrated. So I would say thank you nurses for helping me. Yeah, you have become a very valuable allies for me during my careers and also even during my studies also. Thank you very much. So I know that being nice to staffers will get you a long way. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. So I've been given this topic to talk about secrets of body bulking. So just a disclaimer, I'm not a certified personal trainer. I'm not a professional bodybuilder. So these are just some things I've learned along the way. I picked up this sport, I think, about 10 years ago while I was in medical school. And so I remember at that time there was a lot of nonsensical advice being spread around in the gym. So I ventured out and tried to seek knowledge about how is the proper way to build and nutrition and etc. So I tried to share some of this with you today. So just some terms in bodybuilding. Some of you may not be aware of this. What is bulking and what is cutting? You've seen this thrown around a lot in the bodybuilding fraternity. So bulking basically just means that you're building muscle and usually fat in the same process. Some people believe that you can actually just build muscle, but that is not true. Most of the time you actually build fat, but you try to minimize that by doing some sort of lean bulk. Or you can do a dirty bulk like this guy. This guy is Lee Priest. He's a professional bodybuilder. As you can see, during his bulking or off-season phase, he just eats whatever he wants. And you will look at him, you just think he's fat. But you know, during his in-season, that is the cutting phase where they actually lose fat and maintain the muscle. They are shredded. Okay, so the reason I put it quote unquote secrets is because there's actually no real secrets. Whatever I learned about bodybuilding is all through the internet. I just Googled everything and learned along the way. So I think this picture really depicts very well how to get big. This is from Dragon Ball, and I think if you train like Goku, most of us can get big. So it's basically these three principles. You eat well, you work out hard, and you sleep a lot for recovery, and you get big. So, but then, you know, during that time, there was, like I said, a lot of nonsensical advice. So what is this called? Some of you may have heard this called bro science. What is science and what is bro science? So this, I got this from Wikipedia. It says that bro science is ideas with questionable scientific credibility, which is passed around by laymen, which is the bros in the gym, by word of mouth, as if it's factually true. And you can see these are some of the things that usually being spread around. Like you have to eat every 3 hours, if not your body goes into a catabolic state, or you can't eat carbs after 6, if not you get fat. I'm sure some people in this room might still believe this, but let me tell you, all this is rubbish. So it starts off, okay, with the training. So the key idea with training is you need some form of progressive overload. If you go into the gym every day and do the same thing, you're going to get the same results. You're not going to change. So over time, you need to increase either your strength or your volume of work, and you need to be consistent. This takes a long time. Like I said, I've been doing this for almost 10 years. It's a marathon, it's not a sprint. So what kind of exercise can you do? I think these three are the most basic movements that anyone should be able to do. They stimulate the greatest amount of response, and my only advice is you pick one exercise and use it as indicator so you can monitor your progress. I see a lot of people go in the gym. Every time they go in, they do some different type of exercise, so they have no way of monitoring their progress. So one day they do bench press, and the other day they go and do the machines. You never know whether you're progressing forward or backwards. And if you're not sure what to do, there are various free programs available online, which you can just Google from your smartphone and find out. And nutrition, I think this is a very important and neglected topic in our country with the rising obesity rates. I think this is a very good pyramid which is written by this guy here. If you guys want more information, you go to YouTube, Google his name. He has excellent videos about what to eat, how to train, etc. So you can see here, at the most important, the foundation is energy balance. And supplements, which people think is very important, are all the way up here. So you need to determine what you want to do. Do you want to gain muscle? Do you want to lose fat? If you want to gain muscle, you need to eat. If you don't eat, you're not going to go anywhere. And for fat loss, of course, you need to eat less than what your maintenance eat. So there's a lot of guides available. You can just Google the YouTube guide, which I mentioned, and they give you how to calculate all this. And you have an objective way of trying to gain muscle or trying to lose fat rather than just going in blindly and never seeing results. Then, these are some basic information about the macronutrients are basically protein, fat, and carbs. So for bodybuilding, the current recommendation is about 2 grams per kg of body weight. Fat, contrary to popular belief, it is very important. It is not your enemy. You need it for hormonal balance, satiety, etc. And this, this is what you should be aiming for. And you can fill out the rest with either carbs or fat. If you're doing ketogenic diet, you can just do fats, or if you can do carbs. So how to design a diet? So I don't believe in any strict diets. I believe the best diet is one that is sustainable and is personalized for that particular person. Of course, you need to track what you eat. So you can eat anything that you like as long as you stay to the targets of the protein, fat, and carbs. And I find this app very useful, MyFitnessPal, because it has all the Malaysian foods like roti canai, nasi lemak, kari laksa, whatever. You just put it in, they calculate what's your total calorie, and you have a means of tracking what you eat. So then over time, this thing will become easier. I know a lot of people say that it's difficult stuff, but after a while, it gets much easier. You can just eyeball things and it becomes easier. And recovery, I think this is the one I personally find difficult as a doctor. Sometimes we have on-calls, our schedule is not so fixed, so we might not get adequate rest. The stress levels might, go fluctuate up and down. So this part, I'm still learning how to do the best. But most important, just be disciplined and consistent. You can't be motivated every day, so discipline is the only way to move forward. Supplements. This is probably the least important in the pyramid, as you can see this now. But you're usually marketed as the most important. Most people, you don't need supplements, but if you want to use these two, I find very useful. This is whey protein. Actually, if you calculate per gram, is one of the cheapest protein source, even cheaper than eggs. Is quite useful, especially in our culture where everything is carb based, so it's useful. You can just mix it with water and just down it. You can get 24 grams of protein, just like that. And of course, creatine monohydrate, which is another well-studied, evidence-based supplement. And of course, steroids. Well, if people want to use steroids, it's up to them. It's just like any other drugs, or like women use makeup to get prettier. You can use steroids to get bigger muscles. I don't think people use steroids. You shouldn't judge them. It's up to them. But you know, yeah. Anyway, so why do people fail? So over years, I realized that there's two main reasons why people don't get the change that they want. Number one is, I think, the mental toughness itself. So you need a strong mind before you can build a strong body. So make sure you realize your goal, be relentless. Don't fall for peer pressure. There's always someone in your group of friends who try to mock you and make fun of you. Just close. You know, and also now we live in a generation of instant gratification. Remember, like I said, it's a marathon. It takes years. You know, there's no 30 days to six-pack abs. It's not going to happen. You need to work and take changes, small changes over time. And of course, knowledge. Knowledge is now in our palms. You know, it's all on a smartphone. Like I said, everything I learned is from bodybuilding.com. I went through all the forums. I learned everything from there. So seek the knowledge and empower yourself, and you can get the change that you want. Thank you.
I'll give the disclaimer in a while. First, I want to say thanks to a few people. First of all, for the person who put this reserve forest here. This is very helpful. It's like an episode of Man vs. Wild. But on a more serious note, thank you to all my teachers. Couldn't have done it without you guys. Everyone, including my colleagues, especially my study group, which is somewhere around there. It's okay, sorry we mocked you. But the truth is, I want to be you someday when I grow up. And to all the research staff and everyone, thank you very much, everyone. But I will make special mention to Prof. Asa, who is no longer there. Just let him know that I said thank you very much for being such a long-suffering professor and supervisor. Okay. Moving on, let me just start by saying the real comedian is the person who gave me this topic. Thanks a lot. I have no idea how, but I will do my best, as with all things. Right, so first of all, I haven't the faintest clue. So that means I can tell you everything for free, no charge. It's kawan me pasal. All right, so we'll start off lah. We'll just go into it. This is stuff that just came off the top of my head. I have no idea. I don't even know why I got this topic lah. Don't look at me like it's supposed to be funny, please. Please lah. So anyway, being inadequate. What I mean is, nobody wants to laugh at like Sugesh. Nobody wants to laugh at Sugesh. Because the fella is fit, he looks good, you know, he's successful, he's smart. If he makes fun of people, people will throw shoes at him. But people can laugh with me. Because one proven formula is to be short, fat, and bald. So Danny DeVito, Jason Alexander from Seinfeld, and you all may not know Bill Murray, he's from Black Books. All very funny, all very bald, all very fat. So I have a few distinct advantages. Thank you, God. Now, the other part of being inadequate is self-deprecation. Okay, even if you are not adequate, you can keep saying bad things about yourself and you will seem funny. Case in point, my good friend and colleague, Bong Chin Pei. I tell you, you talk to her, you will know lah. This is the most negative, eternal pessimist lah. Okay, this girl. You ask her, you ask her before exam. Hey Bong, so how's the studies coming? I don't know anything. I'm going to fail. I'm going to die. Honestly, verbatim, that's what she will say. Okay, Bong, how's the love life coming? I'm going to be single forever. You can, okay, Bong, look, there's a rainbow there. Okay, you don't have to be so depressed and cheer up. There's a rainbow. No, there's not a rainbow. That's the sky frowning. That is Bong for you lah. Okay, so that's the other aspect of it. You can just say bad things about yourself. Good job, Bong. We learn a lot from you. Moving on, be observant. The truth is that I learned early on in life that life is very often stranger than fiction. If you pay attention to life, you will realize that there are a lot of things that you couldn't even write, and it's funny. I'll give you an example of something that happened to me. So when I was a very junior MO, first year, just started OT calls and stuff. Then there was this case, so it was a very bad crush injury lah, and compartment syndrome lah, and DIVC lah, bad shape lah that guy. So I was supposed to do fasciotomy of the whole upper arm, and I was a new MO, and DIVC some more. That guy started bleeding lah. Bleeding all over, just oozing from everywhere, So I was panicking, it was a stressful situation, and always in the OTs, there's like a radio playing in the background, and I kid you not, it was just on some random station in the middle of the night, and this is the song that was playing lah. So let's just go through the lyrics. Leona Lewis, Bleeding Love. The chorus is, you cut me open and I keep bleeding, keep bleeding, love. I keep bleeding, I keep bleeding, love. Keep bleeding, keep bleeding, love. You cut me open. See, the NS didn't find it funny lah, but in that situation, that was the worst song, but it was also the best song they could have played lah. But anyway, yeah, you can laugh about it later lah. You should have seen me that day. Anyway, right, the next thing is to be vocal lah, because I learned early on in life again that part of being funny is knowing exactly what not to say. You cannot say that, but you can just find the right situation at the right time and say that, and it's usually funny. So everyone has a voice in their head, and that voice, trust me, is usually funnier than we are. Speaking about voices, let's talk about Sugesh again. Okay, the thing about Sugesh is that he's not a quiet person. A quiet person is Wang. Quiet person is, you ask the person a question, either they say, maybe they usually don't talk, but if you ask them a question, they answer you in 1 or 2 words. That's not Sugesh. You try asking Sugesh a question. I'm telling you, and I've been saying this for years, okay? Nobody is paying attention. There are dark forces at play in that man's life. Okay, there are things keeping him from talking. You ask him a question, he doesn't just answer you in 1 or 2 words, he looks at you like this. Like there's some unseen force keeping him from opening his mouth, binding his lips, So, and you all laugh. I'm telling you, that man needs exorcism, you are taking it lightly. Okay? I tried my best to help him. I asked him, Sugesh, do you need an exorcism? So I thought, okay, maybe he doesn't need help. So do an experiment. At the stroke of midnight, get a lighted candle and hold it to Sugesh's face. This is what you'll see. Okay, there are forces at work here, people. Please take it seriously, okay? All right, moving on. And this is the last point that I have, to be prepared. Because the truth is that since the Middle Ages, comedy is often met with violence. Okay, in the Middle Ages, the court jester was often on the receiving end of other people, of the king's frustrations. So I, in my time, have been a victim to a lot of violence also. Names will not be mentioned, Devarani. Okay, so anybody recognize this? This is her weapon of choice. This is not a container to carry a life-giving, life-preserving fluid, okay? This is an implement of pain and suffering. Okay, I'll show you my shoulder later. We classified, right? Rockwood? 3. Okay, thanks. So anyway, let me tell you about the reasons how I got this severe punishment. One of it was the time where, okay, this is not actually my fault. The person who noticed this first was Sugesh. Sugesh noticed that Deva has a pathognomonic walk. There's a pathognomonic gait for Deva. I will attempt to demonstrate it now. Of course, it's not easy. You have to visit a lot of food places in Penang before you can pull this off correctly, but I'll give it my best shot. So, sorry? What? No, it's not up there. I'm going to give it a try, okay? So the head is tilted to the right. This is only when she's wearing a backpack, and the backpack is heavy. But you notice how she pays very little attention to flexing and extending her knees. It's basically just a swinging. It's a swinging motion, like how you move a really heavy cupboard. It's something I show you all now. I'll show you all. It's like this. She will deny it. You ask anyone. That's how she walks. And then one day, okay, believe it or not, I was privileged enough, one of the few people, okay, we'll do a documentary about this someday. I saw Deva running. Yeah, actually, that's a good thing for it. That gate can be called Deva running. Okay, this is Deva running. It's the exact same gate, played at 1.5 times the speed. It's the same gate, okay, not much different. So needless to say, after I demonstrated that first time, I got a few laughs with that bottle. And then after that, because that wasn't enough punishment, we also assigned a theme song for Devala. Somehow, the tune and the beat of this song goes perfectly with her gait. Deva, if we sing this, will you perform the walk? Okay, then no need lah, no point. Anyway, so I've suffered a lot, and I've tried to be funny, failed miserably. All I can say is I think all of us are funny lah, and that's everything I know, so thank you.
Hi, thank you. Good afternoon. So my topic was given importance of family support. I believe this topic was chosen for me because over most of the weekend, I won't be around in KL. Most of the time, I went back to Penang because of my family. So from the photo here, she's my wife and my baby boy. So my journey began 3 years back in 2015, the time when I just joined master program. And my wedding is supposed on in September, and I have to pass my basic science, my part 1, CBO part 1 in March or April during that period. And I still remember that time my wife told me, in order for you to get married, in order for us to have a wedding, you die also have to pass your exam. Or else, you have to sit for your repeat exam in September. Then you can't have our wedding because it's all planned, everything has been booked, have been paid. So you die also have to pass your exam. So that is my push from my family. So stressful, yes. So luckily, I managed to get it done and pass my exam. Then I thought, okay, everything settled. I go smoothly through my master. But not until my wife got pregnant again. And just so, the timing is just so nice that my wife EDD is on the first day of my part 2 CBO exam. So it became a very stressful moment to me again. And again, my wife told me, Habi, you have to pass your part 2 exam, or else nobody's going to take care of your baby when baby boy is out. So I have no choice. Again, I also have to study and get it done. And fortunately, everything goes smoothly. And my baby was born 2 weeks before my exam, and during that 2 weeks time, I believe most of my colleagues are studying, but I'm doing my own call, doing this kind of routine, showering my baby, and doing all these things. But I'm happy that everything is going smoothly. And this is my routine now. Before this photo was taken yesterday before I came here. So this is, I don't know how you all bio your baby, but this is how I do it. And I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I have no idea why they give me this topic, but I've been practicing this since the age of 15, and I've never quit since then. It's more or less like my routine every 3 to 4 times a week. So I need to practice the skills, and everything comes with it. So this is not a regular sport that most people will take, and it requires a lot of dedication. But the main reason is actually because of its economic. You only need basically a space, and then you can just practice with whatever tracksuit, whatever attire that you have. You don't need expensive gadgets, oxygen tank. You don't need cameras, all this. So most people will think that this is taekwondo. Because, it is one of the 2 only Asian sports that go into Olympic. But taekwondo is more than just kicking your opponent's head and see them getting knocked out. It's not fun. So a little bit of history. So basically, before taekwondo comes together, there are actually in Korea there are many martial arts schools. So kung fu from China, Japan, Korean. So more or less like our orthopedic fraternity, where we have different university before we join together, form a conjoined board. So we all have our own kung fu, and then join together, and they joined together after the demonstration to the president in year 1952, and then after that they started the martial art called Taekwondo, but Tae-Sudo at that point of the time, before they changed it to Taekwondo. I'll tell you about the details of all this name later. So after that, they established the association, but because of North and South War, then they separated. Currently, there are two main federations. One is the ITF, another one is WTF. ITF is the International Taekwondo Federation, and WTF is World Taekwondo Federation, but currently it's known as World Taekwondo. So yeah, because of the WTF, I guess. So in year 2000, it got into Olympic, and then 2010 is competed in Commonwealth Games. So this is the history part. So most of the people that I talk to, some of them, they will think that this is just Olympic sports, and some will think that it just kicks, and they associated it with a little bit of violence. But actually, that's the reason why they call it art. So it's not just about violence in it. So Taekwondo, excuse me. Taekwondo, three words, actually they have meaning from each of it. First, Tae means kick or steps, that mainly is the foundation of these martial arts. And then we also have Kwan, the way of using the fist, mainly for blockings. Striking, usually just straight punches, knife hand chops, and just different simple punching technique. And Do is the basics of the philosophy of Taekwondo, where it is, in words it means way, but philosophically it's the way of life, how we use our hand and feet journey throughout our life. So in kicking part, so there are a lot of kicks, I think you can Google. The principle of kicking is basically you want to kick it fast, high, not just high, any point, accurately. And if you can kick it while standing on the ground, you can kick it jumping in the air, as well as spinning on the air. So this is the principle that of kicking in Taekwondo. I cannot jump so high. Spinning will make me nauseous, so most of the time I just stay on the ground. And punching part is the training for the power and also focus, because the technique of blockings, strikings requires actually immense tension. You will think that, oh, it's just a punch and all this, but punching, blocking practice actually is tiring, because we have to tension, release our muscle in very fast speed. And the typical curriculum that Taekwondo have is not just the sparring that you saw in the previous picture. We have what we call Pumse. It is a set of patterns that actually we practice through routine. It can be done individually or compete as a group competition. They do actually have international competition for Pumse. So, and it's competed throughout the world. The next thing is, this is what competed in Olympic and Commonwealth sparring. Of course, we wear protective gears. And this is not just for us to train on how to injure your opponent, actually. It requires a lot of consistency and persistent training, a lot of courage to face the opponent. And also, during the immense stress of the competition, you have to react fast, and it all comes out based on whatever you have trained previously. So, of course, we also encourage sportsmanship. So, we try not to injure our opponent, but score point at the same time. Head points, head kick, 3 points. Spinning head kick, 5 points. So, of course, breaking. Okay, breaking part is usually used for demonstration, but it is more than just for show. It requires you to actually break your mental barrier. If I put a brick in front here, not many of us will just go there and break it. You know, you have to break your own beliefs that, oh, this is a brick, I might injure my hand. What happens if I don't break the brick? So you you have to overcome all this physical and mental barrier before you can perform breaking. So most of the demonstration of breakings are done by senior, usually the black belts. And you can see in this picture, quite senior. So of course, it is a self-defense art, so which can be practiced and also used, most of the time used in demonstration. In belts and rank, every single belt has its own meaning. It is not just to wear around the waist for display. White belt is pure. They are for the beginners where they have no foundation in Taekwondo. As you go along, as you can see, you can go up to the black belt, which is where we are very close to the dark side of the force because we already have the knowledge and it requires us to practice self-control very much because we already learned the art of the martial arts, which also includes how to injure people. So in the act of rage and anger, we must exercise self-control. So this is the meaning of the black belt. So, and also we are very much tempted by the dark side of the force a lot of times. So the philosophy part, this is besides the physical fitness and trainings and all this artistic movement, that acrobatic movement that you can see, we also have our tenet. Means the first one is courtesy, yoi, followed by integrity, perseverance, self-control, and indomitable spirits. So I have to tell you that this philosophy has actually guided me throughout my life the moment I started Taekwondo. So being a child will actually fall sick like every 3-4 months, weak physically. These sports actually trained me not just physically but also mentally become strong and make me who I am today. And of course in the future will still improve me to be a better person. So comes the questions. So what is the role of Taekwondo in this era when you have guns and weapons? That's just one click, everyone die. So actually, well, besides physical fitness, mental toughness that you can train yourself, another thing is you can put it in your resume. Okay. So all these actors, actresses, they actually have basics, and some of them are still practicing. I guess because of the philosophy, actually shape their characters that they become who they are today. And other than that, these sports actually is not just for physically able patients. Those differently disabled patients also, some of them they're involved in it, and in turn they are the source of inspiration for others. As you can see here, these are differently abled patients, person that actually perform in demonstrations in Pumse, and they do have competition for that. So it is not just merely kickings and sports. And that's all. Thank you very much.
My teachers and my friends, ladies and gentlemen, this is a wedding ring. It's an unbroken circle, a symbol of an unbreakable bond between two persons, two hearts, and two souls. And this ring represents the souls of this happy man, as you can see, and that beautiful girl sitting in the 6th row, just across the aisle from Dato' Mama American and his lovely wife. And the ring embodies the institution of marriage. But what is this thing called marriage? A leading but not so scientific journal calls it a 3-ringed circus, an engagement ring, a wedding ring, and suffering. Prof. Sarah, you got it right. I think it must be the experience. Sometimes we take it far too lightly. But to me, marriage is a brick. It's the cornerstone and the foundation of civilization as we see it today. But my talk really is about marriage between people of different ethnicities. Call it what you like. Interracial marriage, exogamy, mixed unions. My favorite name for it is simply my wife and I. And that is what qualifies me to speak about it today. Intercultural unions started early in history, maybe to diversify the gene pool, to forge powerful alliances between different nations, or to turn the fires of war into a flowing stream of peace. Who knows? The only thing that I know is that one evening, 16 years ago, I set my eyes on a girl sitting alone on an airport bench. And since that day, my life has never been the same. So some days ago, I sat down to make a list of what I thought made my marriage different from some of yours. So I wrote pros and cons. Pros, number one, learning to eat better with chopsticks. Finally, I can go for reunion dinner. And cons, number one, need to understand a new language. I'm still working on that. I've gotten nowhere so far. And number two, the feeling of, I feel sorry to my friends because I keep on having to tell them that, no, I can't do your on-call during Chinese New Year because I've got to go back for reunion dinner too. I'm sure many people are not so happy with that. Yeah, Christmas too. Yes, true, yes. So anyway, I made this list. And then I realized that that's not the message that I want to send. We say that we live in a multiracial country. I haven't changed the slide, have I? Yeah, we say we live in a multiracial country. And we don't really have to say it. Anyone that comes to Malaysia can see it. He looks different from him. She looks different from her. They look different from them. And it's true. We all have different features. And what we call the color of our skin is different. But lately, I think I may have stumbled upon the true difference between races or cultures. It's not really if our skin is black or brown or white or beige. The difference is in our thoughts. And what makes us who we are is not the things that we cannot control, but something that we can control. And that thing is our minds. And so for all the talk about marriage between different races, it's not so much the union of two bodies, although that's important, but the intercourse of two minds to produce an awareness that is bigger than each can form alone. Is that limited to interracial marriages? Of course not. But sometimes the road less taken is a shortcut to the same destination. Ladies and gentlemen, love does not just make the world go around. It turns our own worlds upside down. But as we struggle, thrashing to keep our heads above the emotions that fill our hearts, we find a solid rock on which to stand again. Love is just a spark that forms a blaze. And sometimes we may find that spark somewhere unexpected. My message to you is to catch that spark and hold it so that it can bring light to the world. Teachers, friends, ladies and gentlemen, I stand here to thank you for your part in making me all that I am today. And as for interracial marriage, I can only say to my dear wife, thank you for everything. Thank you.
So I was given a topic, but first of all, I would like to thank all my profs, especially my thesis supervisor, Prof. Kamaru, lecturers, seniors, juniors, and colleagues, and especially my study group mates for being part of my master undertaking. I would like to thank my family as well. So I admit that I am not a really good timekeeper or time manager. Yeah, I wish I could have the time stone to turn back the time and restart everything that I missed or lost. But I think things happen for a reason. I'm grateful for the past events that made today's me. I believe that balancing an active and healthy lifestyle is important to ensure a sharp mind and disease-proof body. So like the old advertisement in TV in the 80s. So all of you must have seen this before. Badan cergas, minda cerdas. So all the 80s babies. Yeah, not only regular workout help us maintain a healthy vessel that God gives us, it also increases our mental strength, intelligence, self-discipline, perseverance, determination, and to be a more contented person to deal with daily tasks. And I knew that one day I had to carry the weight of the person that once carried me in his arms. I hope that he is proud of me right now in the place that he is right now. I'm sure there will be more to come later in our life, regardless what path we are heading. Just have to remind ourselves to become a better person, one that is better than yesterday. So I also, I do my workout also to fight for this crazy and rat. Okay, you all know lah. So be a better person, be a kind person, be a merciful person, and with a strong heart, solid mind, and steel body to face whatever that will come to us. So with great powers come great responsibility. So the life beyond us surely will test us in different ways. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. Life is not about how hard of a hit you can give. It is about how many hits you can take and still keep moving forward. Don't give up. Life is fair eventually. Sometimes it's just not the right time yet for you. So when time is gonna hit you hard, just tell life, bring it on. I can do this all day. Okay, another tips for all of you, if you plan to score high in the exam, just take a gym buddy or fitness buddy together with you and don't rupture your pack major. Yeah, thank you.
The first one is get to forget your scandals. Then get a girlfriend. Anyway, the scandals were interracial. Then prepare for your CBO. Then fail your CBO. Have a cold beer. Go for a cheap holiday. Party hard. Run a marathon. Visit Tunam last year. And then start preparing for CBO again. Pass the November CBO. Have a smaller party. And thank those who helped me. So God, Noceral teachers, KKM teachers, all the previous teachers, my parents and my friends. Thank you.
So I don't have a short speech like Indra because my topic is quite a complicated topic. I didn't know how to present it, whether I'm going to go very technical or whether I'm going to go by experience. But okay, came out with something there. But first and foremost, in audience is Mr. Jeremy Prakash and also previously here Mr. Ashtin. I would like to thank them who were my pillar when I was at MO in Klang, not to forget the rest. And also to all the faculty members who made me who I am here. Thank you very much. So let's get on with my talk. So the title is Go Speed Racer Go. So I was thinking, what am I going to talk about? Right. So basically it just reflected back on go-karting and how active I was. So if you look at my slide, the background is black because racing, they call the thing in racing is about the black art or the black magic is basically between the relation of the tires, the frictional forces of the tires against the abrasive nature of the tarmac that we are racing on. And as you see there, that is resembling the necklace of the Black Panther. So basically, I'm not from Wakanda, but then, but we are not rumpets, we are not rumpets because we do it professionally and there is a way, there is a code of conduct and there are physics involved in it. So, what does racing mean to me? Racing makes me smile, Every time I go to the track, I feel happy, I feel elated because you relieve your stress because working in a hospital environment, you're quite stressed up sometimes. So even when you go to the track, it's a totally different environment, nothing related to medical and you tend to get freed up. So as you see there, cocaine, alcohol, this before and after and cutting usually puts a smile on you. And that's literally me, so intentionally, I've got a broken teeth. So yeah, it makes me smile when I pop my head out of the window. And usually I smile when I see a lot of racers on track practicing. Right, and like no other sports, racing, you need two balls, Football, you need one, tennis, you need one, ping pong, you need one, but racing is two. So you need to have guts. Right, so I'm a national athlete. I represent Malaysia. I'm very patriotic regarding my country. I love my country so much, and I've been racing go-kart since I was 12 years old. And I've been the national champion twice and the national vice champion twice. Then I went to study after Form 5, whereby in India, there's nothing. And once I came back, deviated away from go-kart, I started building with cars. But then I got into UM, and I got a call up again from the National Sports Council that we need your services. Can you please come back? So the thing about it is being in masters, and there's a lot of work, a lot of commitment and all that, and they calling me back, and me being a patriotic person, I just thought, just never mind, I can do it. I know myself better than anyone else. So I took up the challenge and I went back to participation. So what is the most important thing that you need to know if you want to take up this sport? Well, first and foremost, you have to understand the physics that's involved in it. And go-kart is not simple as it looks, all right? Because we race professional go-karts. So as you see in the picture, all right, the go-kart, what is a go-kart? Basically, it's a super technology comprising of a frame and ancillaries which alters the nature of friction between the tires and the surface. That's the definition of a go-kart. All right, so the go-kart has a frame. So this frame is the main character to the go-kart. All right, because on a go-kart, you don't have suspension like a car. All right, so there's a saying that not all persons driving a car can drive a go-kart. But in the other way around, a go-kart driver can drive a car better than anyone else. So because you don't have suspension, you have to understand the kinematics and the mechanics of the go-karts. And the most important is this, we call this the black magic, because this is what makes you fast or makes you slow. So a person who understands the friction between the tires and the ground and is able to make the adjustments on the kart and, you know, adjustments on the engine, they will win. Right, so the frame is the most important. So that's the super technology is all in the frame. And it's not as simple. Every single millimeter, every single degrees counts towards you. Either you're winning in the front or you're right at the back. So how this works in harmony with the driver is important for your understanding. Right, next is what happens when you're on track, when you're driving. How does the chassis react towards the frictional forces of the tires against the surface? This, if you're smart, you can master it in 1 year. You'll be at the front of the grid. So I've known some of the drivers who probably been practicing for the last 10 years and still not mastered it. I'm not saying much, but then again, it takes a lot of practice. Just practice and practice and practice and practice, and a lot of knowledge going into this. So again, physics. You have to know a lot of physics. You have to know regarding the lateral forces that acts when you take a turn, because go-kart is a form of circuit racing. So it's not just a straight line. You have bends, you know, and you're coming and you're looping the circuit again and again. So you have to understand the physics and the forces that act upon the go-kart and the driver, okay, altering the frictional, the coefficient of friction between the tires and the surface. So this is all the adjustments that you need to know, or the graph that you need to know when you're in a competition. So usually if you are in a competition, you can't just go down on a Saturday. Competition starts on a Saturday, so Saturday and Sunday. So you can't go down on a Saturday, go on a go-kart and try to win a race. That will not happen. You have to go earlier. And usually we go on a Thursday. So Thursday, Friday is practice day, and we'll collect data, we'll analyze the data, what is the best setup, what is the best pressures, all right? Because compared to a lot of sports, motorsports, there is a lot of variables. So you have to be very dynamic. So dynamic in the sense that every session that you go out, you have to be very dynamic. And every lap, every time you come, you have to be very dynamic, because things are changing. The ambient pressures are changing, the ambient temperatures are changing, the surface temperatures are changing, your engine temperatures are changing. So all those are modifiable factors and dynamic factors that go into racing that you really have to keep in your mind. You have to, every time, it's not just, you know, letting your mind go loose and just driving like that. No, it's always thinking and thinking. You're 20 minutes on the kart, on the track, in the racetrack, 20 minutes it's thinking. What's going on? What's going on? What is it? What's the physics I need to apply? So basically, the most important graph is this. I think we all know this very well. This is the Young modulus of the tires, right? The slip angle of the tires and the work the tires have to do, and this is the modulus. So as compared to a rempet or a driver who's driving on the road and somebody who's doing it professional. So rempets don't know this. That's why they end up in a lot of fatalities or accidents. Now a normal driver usually be driving up to there, all right, because they don't utilize the maximum grip of the tire. When you're going racing, usually you're going at the edge. You try to go at the edge because you need to go fast. And when you're going fast, the slip angle changes. And when the slip angle changes, the workforce goes up. So usually we try to find this maximum limit. Beyond this, you will slow down. You will try to, you'll be sliding a lot and slipping a lot on the circuit. All right. And again, the lateral forces. Okay. Again, this is all the graph that goes on with regards to wheel slip and the coefficient of friction between the tires and the surface. So as much as we want to go fast, because go-kart racing is a lot of bends, you need to brake. So as much as you want to go fast, you have to learn to stop also. So again, stopping is again, you're altering the frictional coefficient of friction between the tires and the surface by adding more friction, which is the brakes. So again, are your brakes up to optimum? What is the tires doing when you're braking? All right. The understanding of this makes you go even more steps forward as compared to someone who doesn't understand this. All right. So once you know this, then you come back and improve your craft. So the circuit layout is different. Different circuit have different layouts, and the bends can be different. So you have to come back and improve your craft. Where am I going to brake? Where am I going to steady the car? When I'm going to accelerate it out? All right. So usually the fast drivers will try to brake as late as they're going in. Stable the car shorter distance, and they try to accelerate out. That's the fastest time. But this is basic. So everybody has to go back to basic, and from there, then you adapt. Because again, as I say, racing is very dynamic. You have to adapt every time. All right, and bring back the data. All right, because on the go-karts, we have very sophisticated data analyzers and data collectors. You come back and you analyze the data, what's going on. What's my speed at the bend? What is my frictional force at the bend? What is my steering angle? What's my time? What's the lateral G forces? All right. And usually the tires tell a story. So this is what my mechanic will do. He will look at the tires and will say, are you having oversteer, like how our colleague here described earlier, oversteer or understeer? Because it's very important to know what are the tires doing, in relation to the surface. All right. And again, it's dynamic. Every time a go-kart goes out, or every time we have a heat race, all right, rubber is laid down. So the more rubber laid down, the coefficient of friction of the surface increases. So you have to make adjustments. If you can't make adjustments when you're outside, you have to make adjustments inside when you're racing. So how you drive, how you brake, how you accelerate. All right. So, well, to know all of this, you have to keep fit. So racing drivers, usually they will do a lot of cardio workout. They don't do bulking exercises because you need to enhance your fast twitch muscle fibers because you need very fast response. So I usually mountain bike or I do trail running, right? And usually enjoy while you're outdoors, right? And you have to know about the kart. You have to know about your own machine. So knowledge of your own machine is the utmost important thing when you're going racing, because you can't take someone else's kart and do the adjustments. All right, and then this is, I was adjusting the brake on the kart because again, it's dynamic. Sometimes the brakes don't work. You have to change the brake bias to the forward, or you have to bring it back. So dynamic. While you're going at it, you have to be very dynamic. All right, you can't just stick to one setup and go for the whole 20 laps or the whole day. All right, and yeah, you have to work on a kart. You have to be very, very, very knowledgeable on what's going on the engine, what's going on the front axles, the bearings, and yeah, this was in 2016, the first year that I got called back again to the national team. So managed to get a few podiums in that. And I was scouted by these two Europeans. They are from Praga Karts. It's an automobile company based in Czech. So basically they produce go-karts, they produce cars, they produce aeroplanes, Praga. And they signed me up, and this is my 2017 go-kart. And I entered the Asia Max Challenge. And yeah, as I told you, this is 2017 was my exam year. But well, if you're doing something with all your heart, then go all out. And I went on because I know I can do it. So overall, it was a good year last year, with the help of my teammates and my mechanics. We managed to get a lot of trophies and podium wins. And this is inshallah. I just want to share with you. This is the rubber being laid down, and this is very grippy, right? So we had to make a lot of changes along the way. And racing in Asia is different as compared to racing in Europe, because Asia is very hot. So things are very, very dynamic. Even the Europeans find it very difficult to come and race in Asia. And this is the trophies that I've got in the last 2 years, 16 and 17. Yeah, Team Malaysia, and this is my whole team. And this is my manager, this is my chief mechanic, he's my engineer, and engineer. Right? And as much as you're doing well, it's always good to pass down the knowledge. So this boy, his name is Aldrin. So in 2016, I was coaching him, and 2017 he participated. He's just 5 years old when he came to me in 2016. And the beauty about racing is because, as I told you, there's a lot of physics involved, there's a lot of thinking involved, and it's so dynamic. And I'm quite surprised when I see kids come and get involved in motor racing. They mature very fast. They have a very good attitude, they're very respectful, because looking from seniors from us, and they develop a very mature and fast thinking at the early stage because of all the variabilities and all the dynamicity that racing gives them. So this boy participated in 2017 in the Asia Max, and okay, he came in third overall in Asia. He's a Malaysian also. So again, this is my idol, Ethan Senna. When you love what you do, you convey that feeling, that attitude, that resolve, that love to all around you. And this year I was so I was fourth overall in Asia, because I couldn't go much because some of the races were coming closer towards CBO exam. So I didn't go all out, so I managed to get fourth overall in Asia, the whole continent. So this year I got invited to Taiwan. So this year I'm not racing in Asia, I'm racing in Taiwan. And yeah, this is me. And this is my go-kart. You see a lot. And yeah, 388. Me again, doing some adjustments. You see the eyes, focus. And yeah. This was 2 weeks ago, a fortnight ago. So I managed to win there. So it's quite difficult because all around we're racing in Malaysia, and then when you go abroad, there's a new track, you have to learn fast, it's a new environment, it's a new ambient temperature, new surface temperature, new competitors, so you have to adapt quite fast. And thankfully, with God's grace, I have that ability, and hopefully, the overall winner of that will be able to participate in the international finals in October, which will be held in Le Mans, France. So this is for your world ranking, right? So hopefully by win, I may be able to go to Le Mans to probably get my world ranking. And as all racing drivers do, we do have fast cars, but we don't drive it often. This is just for the feel and just for temporary amusement lah. Whenever you see my car, usually, it's like a cockpit lah. Racing drivers, we want something sophisticated, not too simple, right? But the thing is, we drive responsibly on the road, all right? Because we know we are racing on the circuit. It's much more fun than compared to cheap thrills on the road. So usually we try to be safe and try to be a good example to others. And anybody who want to take up this sport, practice makes perfect, all right? So usually I keep on going to the circuit and practice. And I'd like to wish thank you to everybody. And I'm working in Miri. This is Danny. I hope all of you still remember him. He sends his regards to everybody. Prof. Sarah, Prof. Kwan, Prof. Saw, everybody here. Thank you very much.
Hello. Good afternoon to everybody. Actually, thank you for Prof. Sarah to let me chance to have this talk to talk about my journey from RA to PhD, which this talk is, if not mistaken, given by Prof. Sarah. So my journey from RA to PhD, and I was told that given talk by within and finish within 5 minutes, but from this long journey and tough journey, I don't think in 5 minutes can finish. If you really want to talk 3 days, 3 nights, you cannot finish also. Okay, so for those who knows me, or for those who don't know me, my name is Nam Ho Yin from the Tissue Engineering Group, from the Noceral also. So actually, I'm joined in the Department of Orthopedic Surgery very long time, around 10 years back. I'm joined in the Department of Orthopedic Surgery as a clinical RA research assistant, particular in the Division of Joint Replacement DJR. That time was lead, the head is Prof. David Chun, and now now is Prof. Azhar. So after I worked as a clinical RA for a few years. After that, I decided to join the tissue engineering group, which is I wanted to continue my PhD. So I start with my clinic research assistant first. Then after some time, then I continue with my PhD studies in tissue engineering. So a lot of people ask me, why you're already working so many years and why suddenly you want to go back to study your PhD? So actually, is it like a reason here? So much of the reason here, your interest, you're doing research is very fun, or you enjoy the fun, enjoy the happily to sharing or exchange the knowledge with others, or maybe this is the reason and excited for a scientist when you're sharing your knowledge with others. And or maybe you're getting the title, you very enjoy getting the title of doctor, because I'm not very smart student, I'm not very clever girl, so I cannot enroll into the medical student. So, and I maybe after I get a PhD, maybe I get the same title with you also, doctor. So, and also maybe affordable to get the chance, higher chance to get a better job. So that's why I registered as a PhD student, and there's a real tough and long journey started. As everyone know, and I thought that for study, PhD is okay, just a study life, like a degree or master student, but actually not. Like in the diagram here, in the picture here, my plan will be very smooth. Start from the experiment, design the experiment, do the research, and come out with the outcome, publish paper, and at the end smoothly hit my target, get a PhD holder. But in the reality, not really. In the reality, is so in the picture here, there's a lot of blocker, a lot of halangan that you have to solve the problem. You have to meet all the difficulties. So like the iceberg illusion here, what the people see you is maybe wow, you're a doctor, already get a PhD holder, or congrats. But what they didn't see is actually you have to a lot of failure. You have to sacrifice a lot of things in your life. There's a lot of disappointment and hard work behind in order to get a success in your PhD study. There's a lot of the struggling period for me. I got one time is very confused. I don't know where to go. Is it go to this direction or go to that direction? And more you learn, more and more you study, and more you know that actually a lot of things you don't know. Okay, so I always plead myself, because I'm doing a tissue engineering with the stem cells, I always plead myself like a baby, act as a baby, say, talk to them, say, please, don't contaminate it, please go to the outcome that I wanted. There's a lot of tears, and why I cry days and nights in the laboratory, and days and nights in my office, and even in my bedroom. So there's, like shown in the picture here, there's a lot of stages in order to go through the PhD. So long, tough, at least for me, yes, because I'm not a clever girl. So there are a lot of stages here, but what to do? I need to continue. I never think I want to give up, because once I start, I choose the direction that I want already. Once I start, I just continue. So no matter how, I just just solve the problem, meet the difficulty and solve the problem, discuss with others, discuss with your supervisor. So there's a lot of sweat and solo and sweetness, of course, sweetness in my PhD. Like my supervisor says, Prof. Tunku Kamaru, because my English is not very good, he revised my papers, published papers, he revised my thesis, and he get headache already, and revised so many times, million times. So I need to read a lot in order to study my studies, PhD. So because full research is maybe, I don't know, it is totally different with the clinical studies. Let's say clinical study, you say 4 years, that means 4 years. But for us, it's not. Maybe 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, even 10 years, I know. It's no, don't have the, really, I have a limit time. So you need to read a lot of the things updated. You have to get the updated information about your research, get from the library, the books from the library, get from the website also. And you days and nights and sit down at the, not only doing your research, but also sit down in front of computer and do some paperwork and start your experiment. You know, for the full research candidate, if you want to do the small, even a small dot of experiment, maybe you have to do a lot, maybe 5 times or 6 times in order to get the result. There's a lot of failure in the research, especially in the tissue engineering stem cell. Those who doing the research do know about this. So, but although it's a lot of the sweat and solo things in my research, but there's a lot of sweet things also. You can because in order to fulfill the PhD requirement, you need to present your research outcome in the national and also international conference. From there, you know a lot of scientists, a lot of surgeons from overseas. So on a different, even in the different area, so you can exchange your knowledge for each other. You not only talk about your research work, but you also talk. You can make new friends also. So from here, like people say, Malay say, don't always like kata dalam tempurung. So you need to explore more things to outside. So of course, I had already made a lot of friends because I already almost 10 years in orthopedic surgery department. So I made a lot of friends in the TEG and also Department of the Orthopedic, and even with the other departments in the UM also. Not only sometimes you go out with makan-makan, that's why I come up with you can see last time I'm quite slim. Now I'm quite fat already because always makan-makan, you want to release your stress. So you go outdoor activities with them, go to singing, have even go to the conference. When you go to the conference, international conference, you have to stay a few days, just travel around with your friends. So go out with makan-makan with them also, not only for the singing, makan, and also for the bowlings or the karaoke. So at first, from the PhD, at first you need to defend your work. So from the work defense, until progress defense, until finally I get my thesis, submit the thesis, then about the thesis, you have the headache also. I have to revise so many times with Prof. Tunku Kamaru. So I have to finally successful go through the YWA, at last go through the Senate letter, I get the Senate letter, and finally I officially graduate last year and officially become a Dr. Nam Hu Yin. Thank you. So from all these things, it's a quite long journey and tough for me, but believe me, what I learned, and I passed the message to you all, core lesson PhD taught me that there's 5 things: tenacity and also persistence. My sisters always ask, oh my God, why you and the top university can let you grad like that? Are you from University of Malaya? So yes, I admitted I'm not a smart girl, I'm not a clever girl. But what I have is the tenacity and also persistence. I never want to give up. Once you start your things, you decide already, choose the right thing, start your things, then no turn up. Continue, never think of turn up. A lot of people ask me why you never turn up. Okay, one thing, because I don't want to disappoint myself. Second, I don't want to disappoint my beloved family, my parents, my sister, they put a high hope on me. I also don't want to disappoint my the supervisors that quite sayang me. So lastly, the most important things, because I get this, I study this PhD is under UN scholarship. If I discontinue, then I have to pay back. I have to pay back the money. So I die, like just now one of the MO say, die also want to go to continue. Okay, no choice. Not never no choice. Just it's up to you. I saw some of the people say studies in a halfway, they also discontinue, but it's up to their choices. But for me, once I think started, don't think to give up. I also cry a lot, days and night, cry in the lab, but I never cry in front of supervisor. Cannot, never think cry in front of supervisor. Okay, so once I turn behind of my supervisor, I cry a lot. Because for me, my PhD study is about the mechanotransduction and mechanobiology, which is I have to combine the technology of the engineering, physics, and also biologies, all the mechanism combined together. You can imagine I have to modify the machine, the stretching machine, and I'm a girl. I'm not born educated as an engineer. In the midnight, I have to modify the engineer with all my fingers in the black color, which I just finish my manicure and pedicure. So wasted my money also. So, but all these things, all the difficulties, I never think on to give up, because for me, you can discuss with your friends, discuss with your supervisor, discuss your family, how to solve the problem. So the third things, the core lessons is tolerance. This is important when you do your master or PhD. So even in your 4 years clinical masters, tolerance is very important, especially in the full research, because I understand that sometimes you have mood also. I'm very unhappy. I cannot get the result today. I'm very disappointed. You don't come to me. Okay? This is not people tidak hutang you. Okay, you don't show the face to it. Try yourself, tolerance with your friend, with your family. Don't show your unhappiness to them, because I believe that you happy, the environment happy, everything you do will be smooth. The fourth one is the communication skills. Like you can know that my English, you can hear my English is not good, but so I try myself to explore and talk to everybody. Don't, because of your language is not good, then you hide yourself. You just go outside and talk to them, learn how to communicate with the other people, because this is very important also for the full research, because you want to sharing the knowledge and experience with others. You want to get the information from the scientists and also surgeon. So communication skills is important. And the last one is the sense of the purpose. This is very important. Sense of the purpose. Why you want to be here? Why I want to suffer to study my 5 years PhD here? Because I already work as working outside. So why? So because one of the things of my want to continue my PhD, one of the important things is my passionate to teaching. So those who knows me know I love teaching. I was a secondary teacher before. So after I worked as a clinical RA for a few years, I decided to continue PhD because I love teaching. So in order to get the academic line, you need at least, they prefer the PhD holder. So that's why I know my direction. I know what I want. That's why I continue. So this is all the core lessons that the PhD taught me, which I can pass all these things to you. In order you want to continue PhD or even master or maybe others. Even you're working, also need to use these core lessons. So friends is very important. Colleagues are very important. So you don't tell me you do research without friends, without colleagues. This is not teamwork. For research, you need friends and colleagues. So I'm very lucky that I met a lot of the good friends here and very many a good team in tissue engineering, not only in tissue engineering, but also orthopedic surgery department, all the GAGA staff inside, all the professor like Prof. Sarah, like Prof. So A, Dr. Khan, like Dr. Khan and Prof. Chris, they all like Prof. Chiu. I actually know them very long. I know them when they are final years. Now they can become an associate professor already. So I know them very long. So thank you for your supporting and encouragement. And also, yeah. So this is for your study, for my study, one thing I want to tell you, you get the encouragement and support from the friends, from the colleagues. Okay, but in order to achieve your PhD, achieve my PhD, actually supervisors are very important. If you choose a good supervisor, then your journey is quite smooth, can be easier. So I'm very lucky that Prof. Tungku Kamaru is my main supervisor. Although he's very busy, I always give him a very headache because he put quite expectation on our staff. So he, you know, for my correction, thesis correction, I chased him from the west until the east, from the east and the east, from the south to the north because of my thesis. So I follow him from here to there, then he revised my thesis, don't know how many times already. I revised my papers, at last I have to publish the papers, then all these things, he willing to teach me, willing to mentor me, to guide me impatient. Although sometimes he will mumbling, this way you give me a lot of headache, you don't come to my house. I even go to his house, because for my things. So, but he always tell me that, Hui-Yin, I'm not treat you as a student only. A good supervisor will be say like that. I'm not treat you as a good student only. I treat you as friend also, as my daughter also. That's very warm. So I also want to thank for my second supervisor, which Dr. Belinda, which is from the engineering, because his kindness is very motherly. He's very kind. He always texts me, support me, and encourage me. And the most important is the support and encouragement from family. I believe that all the audience here agree with what I said. Beside the colleagues, beside of the friends, your supervisor or others, the most important is the family. A warm call, a warm text from the family, then will give you a lot of big helpful. I was crying in the laboratory, and my mom called me, how's today? Today what time go back? I already boiled cooked the soup for you. What? Oh my God, my tears come out, all the things. Never mind. I put down my phone, I say to myself, don't worry, my beloved family is waiting for me. I cannot disappoint them. Then I wipe out my tears and continue my experiment. So at last, I can graduate as last year, and this is my family, my parents, and both of my sisters and both of my brothers-in-laws. So thanks to them, very lucky to have my parents and my family. Very lucky. It's very, very important. So how about life after the PhD? A lot of people are saying, wow, you get the PhD already, Dr. Nam Hui-Yin already. You can fly like angels or like a superstar, like people call you, I respect you. But yes, maybe sometimes I will enjoy all these things because you can notice that there's a difference. People talk to you in different ways. They more respect you when they talk to you. But life is life. After I get my PhD, I continue my post working here in the department of, I'm very loyal to the Department of Orthopedic Surgery. So I work as a postdoctoral research fellow, continue my working. I still need to work, still need to teach. For the new MO, they know I'm very excited when every time I teach them. because I love to teach. I love teaching. And I still need to publish paper. I still need to do my research. I still need to go to the international and national conference. I need to continue my life. But what's the difference between before PhD and after PhD is I more enjoy my life. When I was in a PhD, I just do, meet a day as 9 p.m. And even the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, I work until 3 a.m. alone in the lab. That's my PhD life, non-stop. But that's already past, very tough. But what I can change now after PhD is I more enjoyed my traveling. I love dancing, so I joined a dancing class. I go to makan with outside friends. Last time when my old friends asked me, hey, come out, Win, come out. I always reject that. I don't want to do. What you are doing? I'm doing the work in the lab. At this time, at night, yes. At the weekend, yes. No. So just enjoy. I want to tell you all friends, life is short. Don't always do, work. Balance your life and your work or your study, and please more love to your family. Thank you.
So I've been given a topic on the toughest part of my master's. I've been working in for almost 6 years, and apart from my master's project, I was given with a side project. And that side project required me to do a lot of extra works without extra pay. So I deal with a lot of preclinical work. So preclinical works in the terms that I deal with a lot of animal models. Name it from goat, from rabbit, from mice to rat. I already try with everything. If Prof. Kamaro give me a chance, I maybe try with giraffe. Okay, and I'm doing. Involved in the master's program require a great commitment. So I have a lot of tedious work to be done. I have to read a lot. I have to spend extra hours in labs, and I have to rush for the publication. I have to do presentation. But believe me, this is not the toughest part of my master's. I handle it like a boss. The toughest part of my master's will be facing these two persons in my life. One will be my father, another one is my supervisor, Prof. Tunku Kamaro. This will be my toughest part of my master's. Every time I met both of them, they always ask me one question. Hey, Tambi, when are you going to finish your master's? And they always have their ways to get the message across. Like my father, he always relate my personal life with my master's. He always say, hey, Tambi, if you keep on doing master, when you gonna get married? When you gonna get girlfriend? You know what? You keep on doing your masters. Let us find a girl for you. I would say, no. Let me do that. That was the funnest part of my life. I would say, Beta, we already give you 32 years. It's now our turn to do. And Prof. Kamaro, he has his own way to deliver his message. At one point, he gave me a lift in his car. It's Mercedes-Benz. So believe me, that was my worst ride ever. Throughout the journey, he asked me a lot of questions. He liked to compare me with non-living things. Throughout the journeys, he asked me, Hubi, did you saw that? What is that? That is a traffic light, Prof. He'll say, traffic light got a purpose in life. What is your purpose in life? And before I answer that, he'll ask me another question. Hubi, what is that? That is a road divider, Prof. Road divider also got purpose in life. What is your purpose in life? And he always asks a question, then he don't expect you to answer. And you just remain silent. And he always compare me with, Sesame Street Big Bird? He always compare me with that. He always say, Pui, the big bird, the yellow bird is doing better than you. And this is how he always do. And another part is handling their lecturer series. That is really tough. So my father is like, whenever he feel that he want to give me advice, he'll just pop out and give me advice. Sometimes I'll be in a function or meeting up a girl, talking with her. Then my father suddenly come and will brag about my masters. Then I will say like, Father, you just spoiled my chance to get a girl. They say, "Beta, don't worry, we'll get one for you." And Prof. Kamaro, in terms of giving lectures, scolding, he's a very fair person. Whether you are a female member of the group or you are a male member of the group, if you are wrong, he'll give you a left and right. And usually, when we have presentation, if a female member is presenting, he always come with a tissue box. They say, "I'm pretty sure you're going to cry today. This is tissue box in advance." So always do that. And progress report is always a nightmare for us. It's like entering a battle. And also, I always feel like I'm a goat, just waiting a time to get slaughtered. And I always tell my friend Saktish, before your presentation, please keep your self-dignity outside the room and you present. After that, you can take it back. So despite this tough moment, despite the harsh treatment from them, both of them remain the most inspiring figure in my life. Both of them really influenced in my life. Like my father, he's a visionary. He always has a vision for my family. He's a barber. He's a Form 2 dropout, but he has a vision for my family. He want every members of the family to be graduated. My sister is a doctor. My brother is a BA holder, and I've already did my masters. So he always has a vision for our family. Prof. Kamaro is also a visionary man. He started TEG with a scratch, with just a 2 PCR machine. He managed to secure a lot of grant. He managed to buy a lot of things, and he made such a great progress in TEG. And my father is a man of principle. He has great qualities. All the good qualities that I inherited from my father. My father don't smoke. He don't drink. He live a honest life. He's hardworking. So all the good qualities, I get it from him. And Prof. Kamal is a very humble and very approachable person. I still remember, despite his position as a director, he still treats us equally. And I still remember for my thesis, he spent almost every day for 1 month so that I can finish on time. And I also know that both of them being harsh to me for a reason. So that my father being harsh to me so that I know the reality of life. At the age of 13, he forced me to work with him in a barber shop, and that really gave me strength to survive with Prof. Kamaro. And Prof. Kamaro being harsh to me so that I know my true potential. And before I joined TG, I used to be an introvert person. I can't present in front of public. I always have a fear of public. But then Prof. Kamaro slowly, he molded me, he trained me. He makes sure I come out from the cocoon that I've been surrounding myself. Now I'm able to teach 350 students in Manipal, foundation student. Though it's a small achievement, it's a great achievement for me. And with this, I'd like to thank Prof. Tunku Kamaru Zaman, my supervisor, my co-supervisor, Professor Murali, Professor Balaji. I also like to especially thank Professor Azura, Professor Azlina, Prof. Sarah, Ruby, Dr. Tan, Dr. Panpan, and all. And I also especially like to thank my best buddies, Sakti Swaran, my partner in crime. Thanks for being with me for all my toughest moments. Dr. Shani and Dr. Nampuin, thanks for inspiring me. Both of you are true example of how women can grow despite all the challenges in life. And also Raja Zairo Isham. Despite being a Malay, he's a true example of great Malaysian. I've been staying with him for past 3 years when I'm doing my master's program. And I really feel home, and he's a great buddy of me. And with this, I also like to congratulate University Malaya for increasing the rank, for improving the rank, and let's work harder to improve University Malaya ranking, and also let's stay united to make Malaysia great again. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks to Bhuvadan who has spoken all my mind voice, which is not easy to be a Prof. Kamaro student. And hi, everyone. I'm Bhuva. Actually, I'm a master graduate student from Tissue Engineering Group. So the topic given to me is tissue engineering in a nutshell. So don't worry, since I'm the last speaker, I will sum up everything. It's a quick presentation. Overview, it will be introduction, contents, as you all know, principles, benefits, conclusion, preference. And introduction, I quoted from one of the paper, which is tissue engineering is which is applies the principles of engineering and life sciences towards the development and to maintain or improve any tissue's functions. It is taken from the one of the journal, which is from the tissue engineering. It's published on 1993. As you can see, tissue engineering have three main components, which three of the components is rely on each other, which is fulfill the requirement of tissue engineering. As for example here, as you can see, the cells is a cell source which have the function of cell renewal. And what the another one is the scaffold, is the framework, which is the conduct of the cells to differentiate, while biological factors such as growth factor can enhance the overall process to achieve the tissue engineering process. The next is the basic principle of tissue engineering. As you can see here, actually the process is when the cells isolated and we can expanded and cell cultured. When we expanded cell culture will be seeded on the tissue on a scaffold, which is a 3D scaffold, and the generator scaffold and will be implanted to a patient to heal, or any patient to have any bone defect or any other to improve their tissues or organs. That's the main principles of the tissue engineering. As you can see, the benefits are lots. So I name a few here. Main thing is to replace the inoperative structure with a completely living structure, to improve or replace any tissue or organs, and it also has the potentially to help the conquer or disease or any illness. And other than that, it also have the minimize risk or advantages over the traditional transplantation and complications. And the conclusion I can sum up all together is the tissue engineering progress is may have an expanded clinical applicability because of its therapeutic option for the tissue engineering, where it is those who can require for the tissue development. So that's all, since it's a quick presentation. That's all right. Thank you.